Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to record a quick little channel update. It's wet, it's windy out there. All the animals are busy eating their dinner and happy. I'm looking forward to mine. And winter is well and truly upon us here in the UK. I'd love to know what it's like wherever you are and who is having weird weather. I know we've been saying this for a long while, but I've had so many messages this week. Well, probably over the last 3 weeks, actually, from so many people seeing crisscross lines in the sky, really weird weather everywhere from Arizona to the UK. I mean, this isn't particularly unusual what we're having here in the UK, quite honestly, for midwinter. But weird weather things happening all over. Let me know if you've got that where you are. I've got my fire going in the background, the horse rugs drying by the fire, trying to keep all my fur babies as dry and as happy and well fed as possible. So I've got some really good things coming up on my channel. Later on this week, I have got an interview with one of my homeopathy friends that I've known for a long while. We met through some of the nutrition training that we were doing. And it's fantastic because I personally have been using homeopathy my whole life, really, because my mum's really into homeopathy. And I also use it extensively with my animals, used it with the children. It's just absolutely fantastic, really affordable, really accessible, although I have just heard that the powers that be in certain countries are making another attempt and in fact are banning it, which should tell you all you need to know about how important it is for us all and how we all need to have some little homeopathy kits in our office. And what I've really loved over the last few years is how some of the synchronicities of people that I met long time ago when I was doing a lot of my holistic health training and now coming back into, you know, we're reconnecting again and pulling all the bits of the jigsaw puzzle, our bits of the jigsaw puzzle together. So look out for that wonderful interview with my friend Caroline Gaskin. She is fantastic. I've also got a great interview coming up with a brilliant guy called Steve. That's going to be on mindset. Now, things like mindset are so important. And I was having an interesting discussion this morning with a really good friend, who I'm also trying to persuade to come on because she's got so much wisdom to share. And we were talking about how tunnel vision happens to so many of us. So even, let me explain it a bit more. Even those of us that have spent the last goodness knows how many years, for some of us it's just a few years, for some it's been a lot longer, really trying to open our minds to what is really going on in the world. How do we find out the real information? How do we differentiate between what's true, what isn't? What does truth even mean to us? It's really fascinating to see how blinkered most of us are. You know, when you see racehorses or show jumping horses wear blinkers so that they're not distracted from what's outside. And we can tend to go from believing this is true to jumping to believing that is true without examining all the other options. So we've gone from this narrow tunnel vision to that narrow tunnel vision, and we're missing out 80–90% of all the other things that might be going on. We know that the powers that no longer be are often saying, look this way, look this way. It's like that film we were talking about last year or the year before. I lose track of time. Time's an illusion. Well, it's just flying for me, I tell you. But remember that film we were talking about, Don't Look Up? And it's exactly that. It's like, look this way, look this way. And are we in this alternative community getting very focused on this is the only possible other truth and forgetting to look at the other possibilities? What do you think? Has this come up for you at all? Because it's coming up for me a lot. You know, we often think about both things can be true. It's never often a this or that, a black or white situation. But I'd love to know for you personally in the chat, how open do you think you still are to actually keeping an open mind to what's going on and, you know, the narrative, the new narrative we've been fed, who's feeding that to us and how much is really true? With most of these things, if they're trying to get people to behave in a certain way or believe certain things, they normally put snippets of truth in there to make it relatively plausible for people that do a surface level of digging. But I'm just really fascinated to think, are there things that you have discovered? Please let me know in the comments below. Say over the last this year, are there things that you've discovered that have made you rethink things in another direction again? What's in the back of your mind? What's that little inkling that you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about? So much distraction about being told who we should trust, who we shouldn't trust. And for me, that's a really interesting one, because for me personally, it can be a little bit different to determine that, whether it's someone I know personally against someone that I don't know personally, and I'm just seeing the media perception of how they're portrayed. So when it's people in my personal life, I really, really go for the energy of things. Sorry, I should have turned my phone off. The energy of things, but also the actions that people do. Are they walking the talk? There's some people that can be very smooth talkers and can say a certain thing and behave in another way. And one thing that's really brought that home to me recently is I've been working over the last couple of months with some new people, and they are just such a delight to work with. It's just really lovely to just be interacting with people that are really have got each other's back, that you've got common goals, that everyone's looking to help each other succeed. And it got me thinking, how much in our lives do we accept things as norm that really aren't normal? So for me, I'm a holistic health coach. That's what I've been doing, or more really a holistic lifestyle coach. I've been doing that for years. And every day I still continue to learn something new, because the challenges facing us all are constantly changing. So I do think we have to change to keep track of that. But in terms of relationships in our life, friends, people we work with, how much do we accept as normal? You know, we get told this is a normal consequence of aging, and we know that's just not true. You know, what people get told about going through the menopause in the Western world is completely different to what you get told and the experiences of women in other areas of the world. There's so much falsehoods that we're becoming aware of. But what about in your own personal relationships? What are you finding, if anything, where you've accepted that as normal, and then if a new opportunity opens up to you, realize, oh my goodness, I had no idea how good things can be? I'd be really intrigued to hear that from you and see, because, you know, I've been lucky enough to work with some really amazing people over my careers. I've also worked with some really awful people. But you know, there's always, we learn from everyone and they learn from me. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that think I've been really awful to work with, and a lot of people think I've been really good to work with. And of course, it depends what's going on in people's lives, because if people are in a very stressful situation, they're not going to respond in their normal way either. It's going to change their personality or how they can show up for the world. But I'm really finding at the moment a lot of my norms are being challenged. I'm used to that on the other side of the fence, of showing people just how good they can feel, how good their animals can feel. But on the more sort of relationship side of things, I'm finding it really, really, really encouraging to see how good some things can be when you really challenge your norms and start to do different things and sort of really connect with the right people and circumstances around you. So that gives me a lot of hope in terms of what might be shifting energetically, because certainly a few of my close friends are noticing a similar thing. So I'd love to know, is that something you're noticing? I'd love to know if this is a personal thing, or whether it's something that's more of a global energy shift. Let me know what you think and whether that's happening for you as well, and what some of the key lessons are you've learned from that. So between now and Christmas, can you believe I'm talking about Christmas? I mean, it's not a big deal in my family. It never is. You know, the animals still have the same looking after to do. You know, I just, yeah, it's never been something that we've been particularly big on in our family. But it is always nice to have opportunities to spend time with loved ones, if you've got them. It's always nice to sort of have a little bit of a reset time. I do quite like over Christmas sort of thinking that I'm going to have a little bit of a reset, a little bit of time out, relook at what my aspirations are, what's gone well, what hasn't gone so well, where I want to go moving forward. And with that, I'm doing a lot of thinking about what I want to do with the channel as well, and where we want to go on that, because over the last 3 years, oh my goodness, have I learned some interesting lessons. I've learned so much about why I chose to work with animals. It turns out some of these decisions are very well founded, because it's incredible. One of these days, with all the messages I've got on my text, on my WhatsApps, on my emails, some which people have tried to delete, and I've got copies of them. I think one day I'm going to have to write a book about all this, because deceit comes in all areas. It's just really fascinating to see. And quite often we don't know why people do that. I think a lot of it is self-protection. I don't think it's always from an evil perspective. It is sometimes, but some of it can be self-protection. It can be old wounds that you haven't addressed. But it's been quite interesting to see. It's been really interesting to go through the last few years and see how different people have reacted to different things, to see how interesting it is with where I'm calling us as a community, because everyone who's watching this, I think of us as a community of individuals that I would so love to be in a room and having a real party with, because I think we'd have the best of times. But it's so interesting to see how hard people fight for their limitations, and how hard humans often find it to say sorry. I watch my animals, and obviously, you know, I work a lot with animals. I have a lot of animals in my personal life, and whether it's a guinea pig, a horse, a dog, a cat, the pheasants, it's really fascinating to see the lack of grudges that are born. And, you know, if say a couple of the horses have a fallout, there'll always be one that's quite happy to make up. There's none of this holding the grudge. There's none of this sort of blame side of things. There's none of it, well, you did it first, or you did this, or even trying to cover your back and make the other person look bad. And how much have we got to learn about this? I do wonder on that respect. There's so many people that talk about the Great Awakening and how they've changed, but how much have we personally changed our behaviours and the way we're treating people and respecting people, and where we're putting our energy and attention? Because is there ever a reason to talk bad about someone? Is there ever, particularly when you know what you're saying is really untrue? You know, what is it in us as humans that make that a trait that so many people find so difficult to let hold of? I find it really fascinating. So between now and Christmas, we've got some really good fun things coming up. I've got some live shows. I don't know if people know where to find the lives. The lives on YouTube, they changed it a while ago. I'm sure you do, but I still get people saying, oh, I didn't know you did that. The lives, you have to go to a separate, so when you go on someone's YouTube, there's a separate live tab, and you have to go on there. It does not show on the main page feed. And if you're someone like me that doesn't do many, because I never know where I'm going to be at a certain time, so it's difficult to commit to those, they don't show up there. So have a look at those as well. And I would love, you can either send me an email. The email's always in the link below. You can put a comment below. You can message me on Instagram, although Instagram's really busy at the moment. So if it's important, don't rely on the fact that I've seen that. If I haven't responded to you on Instagram within 48 hours, please do nudge, because it's really easy to miss in messages on Instagram. Let me know, because we've got some fun things coming up between now and Christmas, and we've also got some serious things. And I would like to know from all of you, where are you at? What are you really wanting moving forward, information-wise, content-wise? Because there's no point me doing it if it doesn't resonate with you and what you're needing, because I think we're all in a very different stage that we were a few years ago. Certainly I can see it from the comments and everything. So I know a lot of you prefer Rumble now to this platform, and I completely get it. And I have got a lot of content that I haven't uploaded onto Rumble, but I promise to do that, a lot of it this weekend. So I won't ramble anymore. I just wanted to have a quick update. Some things are up for me. I'm really, really interested to see if you're noticing some of this. What are you noticing about people you're interacting with? Are you attracting a different type of person at the moment? What have you learned from the lessons of that? Is this an energetic shift up for the good that's happening to quite a few of us, or not? Or is it the opposite? Have I got something coming my way? What are you really focusing on at the moment? How are you managing to stay positive? Because, you know, even on the alternative media, there's so much going on at the moment. I know this has got to be a t-shirt. There's so much going on, because we've been saying this and saying this and saying this for the last 3 years, coming on to 4 years soon. We know, we can see the latest scare tactics ramping up again. Even though there's so much disclosure, they're still poking everyone left, right and centre. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre when a lot of the people talk about us being in a matrix, which I completely... I've been having matrix parties with some of my healing friends. If you haven't seen my Orinoco healing interview with Kat and Malcolm, it was hysterical. That I've never had this before. When we were, my computer crashed 3 times in one interview. I've never had this before. It was definitely, they were in Iceland on the volcanic rocks, and in the same day, Kat, who was doing, one of the people I was doing the interview with, her phone completely blanked out, and as soon as she left that area, it came back again. You couldn't make this stuff up. So if you haven't seen that interview, and the other thing, the last thing, yeah, glad I made some notes that I wanted you to know. Now, I have got, over the last 10 years, I've been lucky enough to meet all across the globe the most amazing people doing various different healing modalities, all sorts of different things that they can work with in person and distantly, remotely a lot. So is that something you'd like to see more? Because these people are amazing and I'd love to showcase some more of them on my channel. Please let me know honestly in the comments below. Would you be interested in that? Because we know there's all these hidden technologies, but so many people are using them now. Watch that interview with Kat and Malcolm on the Orinoco healing. I have been, and my friend Helen, her details are below the video. Book a session with Helen. She's incredible. I have had the most phenomenal experiences in the Orinoco Healing Pod. I mean, I want to come on, actually, I will come on another time and do more of a chat about that, about how the morphic field, the divine matrix in the underground soil level is really, really profound. And we're really missing a trick of not tapping into that. And then I listened to something today, the gorgeous Cultivate, Elevate Matt from there, and he's brilliant. And he was talking about the telephone lines underneath and the electricity. Listen to his latest video on his channel. And I was like, God, if you listen to my interview on the Orinoco, which was filmed last week, and then his interview from this week, there's so much synchronicity of this information coming out. So I'm really, really excited about all this. So let me know what you think. Let me know, would you like me to showcase some of these amazing healers that are spread all over the world so that you can see what's available to help you right here, right now? And the most important thing, have a great week. I really want to know what's going on with you guys. And so go for it. Let me know in the comments. Have a great week. Stay positive. And I'm going to go in and get some food now. Love you lots. Bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.